Hey, what up guys, it's Brandon here, and today I'll be reviewing to you guys the Sonic 3 movie. And basically I'm going to uncover, my thoughts about the movie and everything like that, and just go over the plot and stuff like that, just to, give you guys my official thoughts and everything like that. So, it's going to be a long video, so if you guys have that big of an attention span, just sit back, grab some popcorn, grab a snack, whatever, and just, listen to me ramble, whatever. So, but yeah, also, there's going to be spoilers, just so you guys know. So, just a disclaimer that there's going to be spoilers, in this review. So, if you guys do not want to be spoiled, just don't watch the video until you guys see the movie. So, me and my friends, we saw it last night, basically. I was going to do this review last night, but I was just too tired. I only took like an hour nap after working, of course. So, I was, I was like, I'll just do it. I'll do it today. So that way, that way I'm a little more awake, even though I'm still tired. I didn't sleep enough, of course. So it's whatever. But yeah, either way though, we're gonna get right into this here. Sonic 3 movie. I was giving you guys my first thoughts. So Sonic 3 movie, it was awesome. Definitely awesome. I actually prefer I prefer the first two movies over the third movie though, but the third movie was just as awesome. It just didn't top the other two movies in my honest opinion though. So, and I'll give you guys my critiques about it too, because there are some critiques I have to say my few complaints about the movie, whether it's the storyline or some of the Easter eggs. Well, maybe not Easter eggs, but basically some of the story or the references or whatever, I don't know. But you guys will know when I get into it here. So hopefully this won't be too long, but I know my last few reviews, like when I reviewed the Sonic 2 movie, that was 40 minutes long. When I reviewed the Mario Brothers movie, that was like 45 minutes long. So we'll see. We'll just try to knock it out and everything like that. So yeah, I'm trying to think of where to start here. So I would start off I would summarize it, but then I would mention some other stuff. So, you guys already know the Sonic 3 movie. Basically, we get to see Shadow the Hedgehog, of course, and I definitely love how the movie starts off when when it shows Prison Island, literally at it's in Tokyo, right, or Japan, So I don't know if it said Tokyo or if it was in Tokyo, or it might be like somewhere else in Japan. I knew it was in Japan. I just forget if it said Tokyo though. But it was awesome how the movie started off with it showed the Prison Island the setting, or it just showed the text on the bottom, basically showing you where it is and what it is, Prison Island. Since you guys already know Prison Island's from Sonic Adventure 2 and all that, so that's a Sonic Adventure 2 reference right there. So there was a lot of Sonic Adventure 2 Sonic Adventure 2 references, and the plot kind of was mostly similar to Sonic Adventure 2, but I don't think it followed the story as much Sonic Adventure 2 did. So that's my biggest critique a little bit, is that they didn't follow the full story of Sonic Adventure 2, in my honest opinion. But they still made it work. They made it work in the best way anyway. So despite it not following the storyline, they still found a way to make it a great story overall. So I truly love that. So yeah, basically start off at Prison Island. Basically all the guards were guarding the capsule with Shadow the Hedgehog trapped inside, basically. So almost similar to when Eggman broke into Prison Island to free Shadow, basically, in Sonic Adventure 2. Who was in a similar capsule or whatever. But I don't know, but not exactly though. But it's kind of crazy. So I guess they had to guard the gun military had to guard Shadow that was inside the this bubble capsule or whatever, this water capsule, whatever it was, where they made sure he wouldn't wake up and all that. But then eventually he woke up and he broke the glass, and then he basically defeated all the gun soldiers that were trying to guard him. So it was a pretty great story of how it started off, and it's a heavily guarded prison. Prison Island's heavily guarded too, but Shadow was able to just break out of there, and it was just an awesome way to start off the movie like that. So it was pretty amazing. So I definitely loved that, just the setting and everything, how Shadow was in there, and then he broke out. They were trying to, they made sure he was guarding. The military made sure that they they made sure that Shadow wouldn't break out, but of course he would break out eventually. And he was using Chaos Control to defeat the gun soldiers and all that, you know. So it was a pretty cool opening scene, I should say. So, and then eventually we get to you know, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles. They all basically did a race, you know. It was cool because like they were doing the race basically, and then Sonic thought he beat them. Well, I guess you say he did, but he then saw that Tails and Knuckles were already, like, I guess at the finish line, and Tails like, oh, you got to keep up, and he kept saying that a little bit over and over again a little bit, and then Sonic realized that they were holograms, or just, you know, fake holograms basically. So Sonic actually beat them, but instead Sonic had to go back and just see what was actually going on. So he went back to where like the picnic is or whatever that that Tom and can't remember that girl's name. Tom and Maddie, yeah, Tom and Maddie had set up. They set up like this it was like a happy Earth. What was it called again? I can't remember. Happy birthday, like with B and then Earth Day. That was pretty awesome. I definitely love how they did that. But it was basically supposed to be Sonic's anniversary of coming to Earth, I guess. So that was pretty awesome how they were celebrating that, you know. So it was they were all having a good time, you know. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, you know. Basically they're all part of, you know, part of family now or whatever, you know. They're all friends and everything. You guys know Sonic befriends Knuckles, you know, in the second movie after fighting him for the Master Emerald or whatever. So, you know, to make sure Eggman doesn't get it. But yeah, so either way though, they basically were all having a good time, you know, roasting marshmallows, all that good stuff later that night. And then the gun military helicopter came out because Shadow basically broke free, and he was basically destroying everything at Tokyo. So because he was able to just go run across the water all the way to like the city and all that, and then he was basically just surrounded by all the gun military. And I even loved when Shadow saw like on one of the billboards or whatever in Tokyo, and it said he was like 2024. I was in that capsule for 50 years. So I'm glad they followed that storyline too of how Shadow was trapped for 50 years and all that, you know. But it was awesome though. I definitely love how the story was and everything like that, you know, stuff like that. I'm glad they kept pretty much most of Shadow's backstory pretty much. So I think I'll let you guys know what my main problem was with Shadow's backstory though a little bit, me personally. But either way, Shadow was basically surrounded by the gun military in the city, and then he was basically just destroying everything. So basically, the gun military wanted Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles on a mission to go and stop Shadow, and they basically took them to Tokyo. And then what I definitely loved that, you know, they were in the helicopter, right? What I truly loved, like right before Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles jumped out of the helicopter, Sonic literally said one of his famous lines in Sonic Adventure 2, where he's like, he said something like, yeah, no budget flights, no food or movies, I'm out of here. Like, I love that. That was awesome that Sonic said that in the movie, though. So I'm glad they kept all those references, you know. I was like, oh my god, they said that in Sonic Adventure 2. That was awesome when Sonic said that. And it's kind of cuckoo too, because like it was Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles in the helicopter instead, because you guys know Sonic was the only one in the helicopter when he was caught by the military or whatever, you know. You guys already know, since he was mistaken for Shadow. So I'll let you guys know a little bit. Sonic, I guess you could say Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles were you know, I guess they were seen as they were seen as the villains as well a little bit at one point, but I'll get into that in a minute though, because of course the story didn't really you know, it wasn't accurate when it came to like, you know, or well, I mean, I guess you could say it was accurate, but it wasn't like they didn't do they didn't like have Sonic mistaken for Shadow the Hedgehog, because that would have been awesome, honestly, if the military thought that was Sonic, and then they captured Sonic instead. You guys know Sonic Adventure 2 was like that when Shadow was taking the Chaos Emerald, robbing the bank and all that, you know, and then the military thought it was Sonic. So I kind of wish they did that in the movie though. But I mean, it was pretty good. They managed to find a way to make it very, very interesting too. So, you know, I'm okay with how they did it anyway. But it was pretty cool though. So, you know, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, they basically went down to the city and basically encountered Shadow the Hedgehog, destroying all the vehicles and stuff like that. Everything was on fire, you know. So yeah, obviously Shadow shows up, and then Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, they had to go and try to fight him. But Knuckles was the one who was just ready to fight, and you know, Sonic and Tails were warning him not to do it. And then you guys saw, obviously, for those who've seen the trailer, of course, Shadow was just able to just beat Knuckles with ease by just breaking his hand, breaking his wrist, or whatever, you know. Even though Knuckles is, like, literally one of the most powerful creatures, you know. All that. I forget what he said. Something like he's 10,000% muscle or something like that. I can't remember, something that Knuckles says. But Knuckles is able to take down, basically, the most fierce warrior, you know, like, you know, how Knuckles says it, like, I'm the most fierce warrior and all that. I don't know if you guys saw me spit or just now, but if you, I'm sure that, I feel like that was caught on camera. So you guys know, eventually Shadow basically kicked Tails' ass, and then, you know, he just, like, had Sonic flying up, and then, you know, Sonic, he'd, like, of course, send Sonic down to the ground. Shadow, I should say. He was, like, you know, beating the crap out of Team Sonic, basically. Well, Sonic called himself, he basically said Team Sonic, and Knuckles was like, oh, why is it Team Sonic? Why can't it be Team Knuckles? You know, it was cute, though. But, of course, it was Team Sonic, you know. Now, that's awesome, too, because it was referring to Sonic Heroes with Team Sonic. So, that's just awesome, you know. It's just very amazing overall. But, yeah, basically, after that, Shadow just, you know, got away with the motorcycle, and then Sonic wasn't going to go down without a fight, and he still wanted to go after him, and Tails warned him not to, but Sonic was not going to let it happen, basically. So basically Sonic and Shadow were just racing each other practically. You know, Sonic was moving with his legs, and Shadow was on the motorcycle. It was awesome, and Shadow had one of the military's guns as well. So it was like Shadow the Hedgehog, of course, where Shadow's on a motorcycle with a gun and all that. So that's just it's amazing that they kept that stuff. They kept like that personality for Shadow. Like they were spot on with Shadow's personality in this movie. Like truly, it was truly amazing though. Except towards the end a little bit, which I'll get into it in a minute though, a little bit. But then again, it was similar. It's similar to like how he would feel. I'll get into it though later on in the video. But yeah, eventually, they were both, you know, Sonic and Shadow were both racing. Shadow was trying to shoot him with the gun while on the motorcycle, and then Shadow and Sonic were going up the, you know, the building and all that. And I forget what happened with Sonic. He like fell on the building, I guess. And Shadow did that. You know, he used the motorcycle to do that. Do this. You know, you guys saw that awesome shot with yeah, these messages. Shadow was like doing this on the motorcycle, you know, like he was like drifting on the motorcycle, like you guys know in that movie Akira or whatever that I referenced in the trailer, that is. And then eventually Shadow jumped off the motorcycle. You know, he was ready to just beat the crap out of Sonic, and then Sonic went to go and punch him too, and they were about to collide. And what was awesome is that when they collided, there was like a big power surge in Tokyo for like a second or whatever. So it was similar to basically the first Sonic movie when Sonic was running around the baseball field and created this big power surge in Green Hills. So it was just crazy though. So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, this is just like the first movie when Sonic did that power surge, whatever. And that was it's crazy because that was when Sonic was alone. And now you got Knuckles, Tails, and Shadow. You know all these Sonic characters, which is pretty awesome. And there's another character I didn't mention yet, but we're gonna get to him. And I'll pretty much give you guys like a little bit of my critiques about all that too. So yeah. So yeah. Besides that though, you know, Sonic couldn't stop Shadow, unfortunately. You know, and then eventually they went to go to this cafe or this restaurant, which is basically Chow Garden, which is awesome that they called it that. It was basically it's like a restaurant, but they have like, you know, the dancing Chow, you know, the Chow and the costumes and all that. I'm sure you guys saw in the trailer as well when I reacted to the trailer that we saw that Chow Garden. But it was awesome too, you know. And it was funny too because there was even like you know, people there that thought that Tails was Pikachu, I should say, and then Knuckles was like, yeah, he looks like a Pokemon. He was like Pika Pika and all that. It was just cute. So you know, they were all just chilling. You know, they were just figuring out who the Shadow guy is and all that. And then oh yeah, that's right, because they were there with the general, the gun general, pretty much, who which this is, I guess you could say this is like the first spoiler of the movie, kind of. But I can't remember what his name was, the general. I don't remember what his name is. I'm not gonna look it up right now, but I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about. So I guess you could say he's similar to the gun commander from Shadow the Hedgehog, of course, but he has a different name, I guess. So I don't know, but he's pretty much similar. We saw him in the second movie too, where that whole wedding was all set up, with all the gun military, and he was there basically during that. But we get to really see him, in full in the gun uniform or whatever. He was basically telling Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles about Shadow's backstory, how all Shadow felt was pain and all that since Sonic found friends. It's funny because like Sonic and Knuckles, they both grew up in the same situation where Shadow lost Maria, and basically we had all these there was all these flashbacks, which was awesome. They had all these flashbacks with Shadow and Maria at times. It was pretty awesome, and it basically showed that. So it was kind of similar because Sonic lost what was I can't remember that owl's name or whatever. That was his mother that he lost, Rayclaw or something like that. I can't remember. But you guys get what I'm talking about. So basically, it's, Sonic lost her, and then Shadow lost Maria, basically. So besides that, Shadow basically got locked up instead of Sonic, was able to just run off to Green Hills and, find himself a home with Tom and Maddie and all that. So stuff like that, I guess you could say. But other than that, though, it was pretty cool though how basically the gun commander was basically referring to, like, he was basically saying about like how Shadow grew up. He didn't grow up the same way Sonic did, and that's why Shadow has been miserable and just I guess you could say evil at times as well, all that stuff. So, but eventually after they were talking about that, all of a sudden we had all these Eggman, basically Eggman's gun military, you guys already know not gun military, what the hell, all of Eggman's space, all the Eggman's weapons or whatever that shoot lasers and stuff, they were all there apparently, and they went to destroy the place, or destroy the Chow Garden, and sadly eventually the gun commander unfortunately died after that. So everything was destroyed, and Sonic couldn't save him or anything like that. So Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, they had to go and they got the key basically. It's one of these keys, which I'll tell you guys about later. But the commander gave him this key, and there was actually two keys, I guess, that they would have to collect. But basically, Sonic basically was able to get the key there, given by the commander, and yeah, apparently, eventually, what was his name? It was this guy, of course, you guys know the guy who makes Eggman's goat milk, or, his cappuccino or whatever with the goat milk and all that. I guess you could say Eggman's henchman. I never know what his name was, but he basically saved Sonic, Tails, Knuckles from Eggman's things. But it wasn't. Here's the thing: it was not controlled by Eggman though, and I'll tell you who actually controlled it later. So. Yeah, either way though, basically Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles tracked down this guy in the motorcycle. It wasn't Shadow, but it was basically that guy, that Eggman's henchman or whatever, his partner. He was the one who was actually in the motorcycle, and he basically helped them just so he could help them stop Shadow basically, because he knew about the about what was happening as well. So eventually he led Sonic, Tails, Knuckles to Eggman, where Eggman was hiding at, and I guess he was like in this robot crab or whatever that he was in, which was pretty cool. But I almost expected Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles to fight that robot crab a few times, so a little bit, because I almost thought it was gonna be some kind of boss battle or something. But that's why I'm kind of disappointed. I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't fight him or fight that robot. But then again, they need Eggman's help. But they basically needed Eggman's help to hopefully try to stop Shadow, and obviously stop him. And they pretty much need Eggman's technology to try to stop him, which didn't really help. But it was funny too, because like when they found Eggman, Eggman was all fat and like he was all hairy and all that, and it was kind of cuckoo because like you would think that he was destroyed or just he was gone after after that big giant robot he had in the second movie. After he was using the Master Emerald to control it, you would think that he was done. You would think that he was no more, but I guess he just ended up being just I guess retired, I guess you could say, and he was just sitting inside that robot just watching TV. He was basically watching an Italian soap opera or some kookiness like that. It was funny because that was shown like a few times too. So there was just a lot of comedy in the movie, that's for sure. Of course, I mean these movies never disappoint with the comedy, but especially with the Robotnik, of course, played by Jim Carrey. So Robotnik is literally the funniest character in the movies, not just the movies. So something like that, basically. But eventually, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, they all needed Eggman's help, and Eggman's like, all right, fine, I'll do it for you guys. I'll help you guys, whatever. So yeah, eventually, what's funny is that we had the montage of basically, Eggman getting his hair cut, getting his hair trimmed, and then getting his outfit and all that stuff. Just. And even the outfit just wouldn't fit him anymore, so he had to get a bigger outfit, whatever you guys saw in the trailer. So, you guys already know. But, yeah, besides that, though, he basically was trying to help Sonic, Tails, Knuckles. They had, Sonic had the key. And then here's the thing I was about to mention to you guys about, like, I guess you could say the plot where Sonic and Tails and Knuckles are seen as the enemies at one point. Basically, the gun military, I forget I don't know what her name is, but she was basically, I guess you could say, she was the next person up she was the one who found the general was killed or whatever, and she couldn't find the key. I guess she couldn't find that key that the commander had. So then basically she saw the picture that I guess he took of them with the Chow, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, the picture of them with the Chow that I guess the commander had, and then she was like, oh, I knew they couldn't be trusted. So then she basically was trying to go after them and all that. But, I mean, I guess not necessarily, like, she wasn't, like, tracking them down completely, but then she was able to just stop them and all that. So, and even Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles were like, we can't trust anybody right now. So, it was basically, it was just, no one could be trusted like that, you know what I mean? So, they couldn't even trust the military. So, yeah, basically, eventually they were able to just, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Eggman, they all basically made their way to this gun base. That was actually where Shadow grew up at, which is crazy because this is one of my critiques right here. So it's kind of crazy because like Shadow, how Shadow grew up and where he was from. It's like he was basically from that gun base, I guess you could say, with Maria and yeah, because that's where he and Maria were growing up at. But, or just, where they were 50 years ago, instead of the Space Colony Ark, since the Space Colony Ark was actually really where they were. But I guess that's the only thing that's inaccurate a little bit. But I like it though, I like how they did it with the plot right there though. But that was something that just kind of bugged me too, is that they didn't like grow up at the Space Colony Ark in space, you know what I mean? Because that was kind of the beauty of it a little bit, because Maria didn't know what was like at Earth, or she didn't really know what life was like at Earth. Neither was Shadow, but they were already on Earth, I guess. According to the movie, they were already on Earth 50 years ago. So I don't know, something like that, I guess. So that's kind of what bugs me a little bit personally. But other than that, though, they did a pretty good job, with the backstory. That even Shadow was having his flashbacks when he was revisiting his that base that was destroyed. So yeah, when he was revisiting it, he eventually got he eventually showed the flashback with Maria and Shadow, and they were just having a good time. They were watching, I guess, like one of the old Godzilla movies, because this was 50 years ago, obviously. So stuff like that. It was pretty cool. And then eventually they were looking at the stars and all that. I forget what Maria said, but she said something like each star, like, I can't remember now, but some like, it's kind of weird actually. I can't remember, but you guys get the point. So they were basically, you know, just bonding, you know, looking at the stars and everything like that, you know. Shadow was, of course, you know, having his doubts of why he was created and all that, a little bit, stuff like that. But, you know, eventually Shadow realized that he's glad that he has Maria, you know. And then eventually the place was starting to I forget what happened. I guess it was supposed to be, I guess the base was just in danger of being, you know, it was unstable. I can't remember how it was now. It's been a while, but basically Shadow was just, you know, trying to get out, trying to help Maria and you know, Gerald Robotnik. So Gerald Robotnik, you guys already know he's in the movie. And I'll give you guys my critiques about, you know, how he's in the movie and all that. But basically, you know, Shadow, Maria, and Gerald, they were trying to get out, and then I guess eventually one of the gun military was trying to shoot at Shadow, but then the commander was like, don't shoot, that's a kid right there, you know, since Maria was trying to escape too. And then eventually one of the gun military soldiers actually shot one of these capsules that basically explode everything, and then eventually that's what led to Maria dying. So it was very sad, you know, especially with Shadow and Gerald Robotnik were there trying to see if Maria was okay, and then of course, you know, they realized that she was gone. So it was pretty sad backstory there too, which is obviously almost similar. I mean, it's not like fully like accurate with the you know, Sonic Adventure 2 story, or, you know, Shadow the Hedgehog, whatever, because of course before, you know, Shadow was being basically sent into the capsule down to Earth after Maria was shot, and then she basically, you know, she pushed the button to send Shadow out, so Shadow didn't really see her die or anything like that, you know, stuff like that. I guess kind of, but you guys get the idea. So yeah, eventually Shadow was locked up and all that, and Shadow just, you know, was, because there was at one point Shadow was like running around, and then like his energy was just too powerful and too dangerous to where that's where it caused catastrophe and really destroyed the base like that. So I can't remember what exactly happened, but I guess that may have what caused, you know, everything to be unstable. So then they would have to escape, you know. So I don't know, stuff like that. So then eventually, you know, even Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Eggman, they enter this gun base as well. That's all, you know, destroyed and all that. But then what's funny is that there was actually like a cutaway where Knuckles was like, I ain't afraid of no ghosts or whatever, or something like that. Or no, I think it was Eggman's henchman that was like, oh, you're afraid of ghosts or something like that. And then Knuckles was like, I ain't afraid of that. And then Sonic's like, wait, you remember what happened last movie night? And Shadow, and then it showed like a cutaway. It was basically like a cutaway where Knuckles was you know, Knuckles was like scared of Casper because they were watching Casper, and Knuckles was actually scared. It was just cute, so it was like a Family Guy cutaway type of thing, which was pretty awesome how they did that. So yeah, besides that though, they all basically eventually they like split up. Sonic and Eggman went with each other. It was just cute, you know, because Sonic couldn't trust Eggman. Tails went with the, you know, Eggman's partner, and Knuckles went by himself. And Knuckles like, I ain't scared of no ghosts. Come out, ghost, wherever you are. And then Shadow was there, basically. Shadow basically, you know, saw Knuckles and just, you know, I guess attacked him and all that. But Shadow was the one who basically, he basically he got Sonic, Tails, Knuckles all like chained up. And then eventually what happened with Eggman is that he found Gerald Robotnik, where Gerald Robotnik basically was there. And Shadow actually saw him. Shadow saw him at the destroyed base first. You know, it was interesting though. So because Gerald was the one who raised Shadow, and Shadow was following his orders. So I guess you could say Gerald was the one who created Shadow basically. But besides that, though, you know, it's pretty insane, you know. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to cover everything. We're at 30 minutes already, so I'm going to try to see how much I can cover here. But basically, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, they were trapped, and they were, like, in this chain. and then Shadow like threw this like black hole, like it was like a mini black hole or something like that, and then Shadow, or not Shadow, Knuckles had to go and grab onto like one of these wires with his teeth or something like that to hold on to grab onto it before they like get sucked up. So he was trying to save him from getting sucked in. And then Sonic got like one of the the ring portals, and he like did some kind of trick shot with it, like as it like bounced off of all these different projectiles. And then as they let go and they were about to go in the black hole, the ring portal was in front of the black hole, so they were able to be saved just like that. So it was just insane. But yeah, basically they basically went through the portal, and I guess they went back to where their house, or they went back to where Tom and Maddie are and all that. So it was crazy. But my complaint though, so since Gerald Robotnik, Eggman and Gerald basically, Eggman saw Gerald and all that. It was his first time really seeing him, because he didn't know if he had a father, and he didn't trust Gerald at first, but then eventually he was like, oh, Papa, it's my father and all of that. So it was just cool. But no, what bugs me is that Gerald Robotnik wasn't even alive when Eggman was him. I don't know, but because Robotnik was executed basically after the whole Space Colony Arc tragedy in the games, but I guess in the movie he was only locked up. He didn't like get executed or anything like that. So that's what kind of bugged me, because like, I don't know, it was just kind of weird, because like it was 50 years ago, and you would think Gerald would be dead by now anyway. But I don't know, maybe he was just immortal. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. But no, yeah, Gerald and Eggman, they basically were like working together, and they were having father and son bonding time, which is cool. So other than that though, they made the plot work. They made it work pretty well right there in that sort of way. But it was just weird though, because like I never would have thought I would see Eggman and Gerald Robotnik together like that, whether in the games or in the movie, you know what I mean? So, but it was pretty cool how they did that. And Jim Carrey played both those actors, both those characters, I should say. And even Eggman and Gerald basically were breaking the fourth wall, saying like, oh, it's almost as if we play as the same actor and all that. So it was just cuckoo as hell. So I loved it though. But besides that though, meanwhile, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, they returned back to the house, back to Maddie and Tom and all that, and they basically explain what was going on, and then they eventually joined them on their plan, because their plan was to basically go to the gun headquarters, because that's right, because Shadow took the key from Sonic, and then Eggman had the key, and then eventually Sonic saw it, and Sonic's like, yep, I knew I couldn't trust Eggman. So basically they had the plan to go to the gun base. Tails basically, I forget, first Maddie and Tom were disguising themselves as Rachel and Randall. I think, yeah, you guys know Rachel and Randall from the wedding and all that. They basically were disguised as those guys to get into the gun base, and then eventually they were able to go into the circuit room or whatever, where they had to go and sorry about that, guys. Freddy was just whining out there, but basically they had to go into the circuit room or whatever to basically plug in one of the I think it was one of Tails' hard drives or whatever, which was supposed to turn off the shield that was around the gun base. But unfortunately, Eggman already had a hard drive in there too, so I guess the base was about to be shielded, because if Sonic were to go in there or try to touch the shield, he would have been obliterated. So eventually Sonic was able to get in there quickly. Well, it didn't look like he was going to make it in there, but then Tails was able to actually he was able to grab him and toss him in there at the right time. So it was pretty cool. And Eggman and Gerald were already they were already in there too, so they were already trying to go through all the lasers and stuff, because it was a very awesome scene where Eggman and Gerald were basically going through all these lasers, and they had like this reflective it like reflects the lasers, I guess. I forget what it was. It was supposed to like it would stop the lasers from like cutting through the skin or whatever. So they had like these outfits, and they were like doing all these dancing moves and all that. It was just cute. But yeah, they were able to just do all these dancing moves, and like even the lasers were changing colors, which I don't think that's supposed to happen, but somehow that's just how the movie works, I guess. So yeah, eventually they got through there, and then they basically got to where the second key is to basically uncover well, one of these weapons, which I'm sure you guys already know what it is, but I'll get into it in a minute. So so eventually they got there, and then Sonic was able to just speed through there too, and got there to that room. And what's cool is that basically the floors had like these different gravity, like these gravity things or gravity effects, where if it's red, it like gets you stuck to the floor, and if it's green, if it's green, Sonic will just, because Sonic was floating if it's green, so he was like floating in the air, he couldn't like touch the ground or anything, but Eggman and Gerald were basically stuck on the ground. And then you know, the gun mill, one of the gun, you know, that gun commander or whatever, not the commander, but yeah, that woman basically stopped them from getting to the other key, basically. So then eventually Maddie and Tom were caught too. So then all of them, including all the gun soldiers, they were basically in that room where all the gravity stuff is, and everyone was like getting stuck to the floor, and you know, getting forced in the air and all that. So they were trying to get the key and all that. Basically, Eggman and that woman, they were trying to get to that key, that second key that's supposed to unlock this weapon, basically. And eventually, I think well, yeah, that's right, because the gun, yeah, because she got the key, she got it before Eggman could get it. And then what's crazy is that Tom was able to escape eventually after Sonic was able to save them from all the ceiling and walls crumbling, because they were about to go and crush Maddie and Tom and all that, and Sonic was able to save them, or you know, stop the gravity stuff from, you know, doing that. So eventually Sonic was able to stop them, and then Tom had this idea of basically disguising himself as the commander to basically grab the key from you know, that other woman, basically. So it was just crazy though. But besides that though, it was a pretty cool plan overall, you know. Pretty interesting how they did that plot. But then eventually, unfortunately for Tom though, he was still disguised as the commander, and then he runs into Shadow, and Shadow thought it was actually the commander. So then Shadow basically goes and just punches. I think he like punched him in the chest or something. But then of course he didn't realize it was Tom. So basically Tom was injured. It was pretty sad though. So, and then he was taken to the hospital, unfortunately. So Sonic this really, and Sonic was definitely angry. Like he was, like it was. I've never seen Sonic that angry in all of the movies, basically. But you know, Sonic was like the Shadow. What did you do, and all of that. So, and then of course Sonic was letting the anger get the best of him by basically, he kept demanding Knuckles to get the Master Emerald to go and try to get to the space, to try to get into space, because of course, you know, Eggman ended up getting the second key because Shadow took it from Tom, basically. And then eventually they basically were able to reveal this big space station, which is it's basically the Space Colony Arc, except that, you know, all it is just the it's similar. It looks similar to the Space Colony Arc and all that, you know, but it was basically just, you know, hidden in the waters, and then, you know, basically it came out of the water and went into space like that. So it was pretty cool though. So it was a very cool transition, you know, since it rose out of the water in London, and since that's where the gun base is, of course, it's in London, you know. So eventually the thing went into space, and of course you guys already know the Eclipse Cannon is the weapon that they were going to use to basically destroy the Earth. And basically that was Gerald's idea, that was Gerald's plan, because Gerald's like, you know, we're gonna go and we're gonna go destroy the world. There's nothing meaningful about this world and all that. And Eggman wasn't on board with that, because Eggman wanted to rule the world. And, you know, of course, Gerald even said that even the Eclipse Cannon would kill them too, Eggman and Gerald and Shadow and all that. So Eggman eventually was like, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I'm going to stop my dad. So my grandfather, I should say. So, it was pretty interesting overall, you know. But yeah, with Sonic though, he basically went off without Knuckles and Tails. He basically he was like lashing out at them. He was like, Sonic was like, where is that Master Emerald? I need that Master Emerald to go and stop them, and all that. And Knuckles was warning him not to get it either. So, you know, Knuckles was not going to let it happen because it was being guarded. And he was even telling Sonic that he's letting his anger get the best of him and all that. But then eventually Sonic went back to Green Hills, and was it, you guys know that other sheriff that I can't remember what his name is, but he was the one who was guarding the place, guarding Green Hills, you know. I guess while Tom and Maddie were, I guess, were they in Hawaii? I believe in the second movie. I don't know, but he was basically still there at Green Hills as the sheriff and all that, you know. The other sheriff, I guess you could say. And what's cuckoo is that he was basically using the Master Emerald as like a hockey puck or whatever, and it was like scoring the goal with it, you know. So he was basically guarding the Master Emerald by just doing that, which I wouldn't trust him. I would not trust him with any of my stuff. No, I'm just kidding. But basically Sonic was like, hand over that Master Emerald now, and they just took it from him. So yeah, even the sheriff was warning him about it, but you know, Sonic didn't care, so he still took it, and he used it to become Supersonic, and he went flying all the way up there to the Space Colony Arc or whatever. I'm just gonna call it the Space Colony Arc because that's what it is. So, but it was pretty cool though. It was basically literally a Space Colony Arc, except that it had no, you know, backstory with Shadow. So, you know, Shadow and Maria weren't there 50 years ago or anything like that, unfortunately. So that Space Colony Arc was never there, you know, for all those years or anything like that, like it was in the games. But basically Sonic went up there, he literally crashed into the space station or whatever, and then he basically was fighting Shadow, and Sonic was just like trying to beat the crap out of him and all that. He was just fighting Shadow with all of his anger and all that. So it was crazy overall, you know. And then eventually Shadow was able to punch the Supersonic out of Sonic, I believe, from what I remember. Yeah, it's hard to remember all this too. Just so you guys know, all this may not be accurate too, so that's why I'm trying to like remember it. But yeah, basically they were fighting for the Chaos Emeralds, and then they clashed into each other at the same time, and I think they were fighting like at a volcanic area or something like that. I forget. And then eventually they were like fighting at a desert, but eventually they both became super, so we got to see Super Shadow in this as well, just like we saw in Sonic Adventure 2. It was awesome. So basically they were fighting each other basically, and then Shadow basically said, "How dare you abandon your friends like that, or you just walk out on your friends like that? Now you know how it's like what I went through and all that. So he's like you're just like me, Sonic. I think that's what he was implying, but Sonic's like I'm nothing like you." And all that. So it was crazy though. But eventually they were fighting each other, you know, with being Supersonic and Super Shadow and all that. And then I forget what happened afterwards. But eventually they eventually went up to the moon. They crashed on the moon after Sonic literally did a super punch on him. And Sonic just used all of his anger on him and just destroys him like that. But yeah, eventually they were both laying on the moon, looking at the stars, just like how Shadow was with Maria. It was pretty awesome how it ties into that too. So yeah, eventually, basically Sonic was like, Sonic realized, like, I forget what he said. He said something like, yeah, I actually can't remember what he said, but basically I guess Sonic kind of convinced Shadow that, you know, you don't need you need friends to, go through different, go through any situation, or was that was probably from the second movie when Sonic convinced Knuckles that, but I guess Sonic said something like when the sun rises, there's always hope, or something like that. Since the sun rose over Earth, as they saw the sun rise over the Earth like that, it was pretty cool. So eventually that convinced Shadow to help Sonic go and stop the Space Colony Arc. or stop the Eclipse Cannon and all that. So they both teamed up as Super Sonic and Super Shadow, and we had the Live and Learn. We had that song play in the movie. That was awesome. And then eventually they were heading over to the Space Colony Ark, and it was almost similar to when they fought the Bio Lizard in the final boss in Sonic Adventure 2, but instead they had to fight all the robots and all of that were coming out of the Space Colony Ark or whatever. So they basically were fighting all those, with Super Sonic, Super Shadow, since Gerald saw that Shadow was betraying him, so he basically went and did that, set off all those released all those robots, but that wasn't gonna stop those two basically. And then eventually Eggman and Gerald, they were fighting each other. They used like their different mechs and stuff. Like they had like Gerald had like a scorpion thing or whatever. It was weird. It was such a weird battle though, honestly. But it was overall just pretty cool though, So they were basically using their technology to just fight each other. And then eventually Eggman he almost fell basically. And Gerald like almost knocked him out of space, but then Tails and Knuckles showed up and saved him. And then eventually Eggman was able to defeat Gerald, and Gerald went like right out of the Space Colony Ark or whatever. So he was basically gone after that. But then eventually Eggman, Tails, and Knuckles, they went to go and basically try to move the Space Colony Ark. They were turning like the laser away from Earth, and it destroyed like the bottom of the moon. So it's almost similar to Sonic Adventure 2 where Eggman blew up half the moon. So that's what it kind of reminds me of too. So it was pretty cool overall, And then eventually, Sonic and Shadow, they were basically stopping the laser from hitting Earth as Eggman and Knuckles, they were turning the arc. So that way the laser wasn't hitting Earth at all. And it basically they stopped it right on time as Sonic was getting flung because he was losing his power, and then he was falling down to Earth. And then Tails was trying to save him, but then Tails also, was unconscious, and then Knuckles actually saved them by jumping all the way down too, and he was able to save those two basically. So it was pretty cool overall. And unfortunately for Eggman, here's another spoiler obviously, but I think Eggman may have died because he was inside the Ark, and he was basically apologizing to his partner after not spending time with him and all that. But he was like, you're the reason who I am today and all that. He was basically giving out that message to Earth and all that. So, and Shadow was still trying to stop the laser too. So they both basically sacrificed their lives for obviously for millions of people. So it was pretty awesome. That was a pretty awesome moment right there. It was kind of sad too, but it was a pretty cool way how the movie like ends right there a little bit. So besides that though, there's nothing really much to say. Luckily Tom was feeling all right after that, because it seemed like Tom was dead. I almost thought he was for a second when Sonic looked so sad as they went, as him and Maddie were in the ambulance car and all that. But luckily he was all right at the end. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, they went on to racing and all that. So, but like 50 minutes. This is my longest review. So I apologize for how long this review is, but that's what you guys are gonna get, I guess. So, but yeah, I don't know. But I heard because me and my friends left the movies too early to find out that I think Shadow's still alive, so he's gonna be in the next Sonic movie, which is crazy. Which is also inaccurate because Shadow actually did die in Sonic Adventure 2, but maybe it's a Shadow android. Maybe it's gonna be the Shadow androids or something like that, like how it was in Sonic Heroes and all that. So I don't know. But Eggman, I don't know what's happening with Eggman, but I did hear that Jim Carrey wants to go and play as Robotnik again in Sonic 4, so he could still be alive. I'm not sure, but this is like the information I found out. So I don't know. But the biggest spoiler though, I would say, is literally pretty much previewing the next movie. So there was Metal Sonic, right? Metal Sonic and Amy are going to be in the next movies, basically. That's all I'm going to say for now. But what sucks is that Tyler, my friend Tyler, of course, he was spoiled I guess he was on a Discord chat, and somebody, I guess, joined and blurted out that I guess he blurted out Amy and Metal Sonic or the next Sonic movie or something like that, and all that, which definitely sucks. So, yeah, like that, that's why I hate spoilers like that. Those spoilers are just terrible. So, but besides that though, I'm very excited for what this next movie has to offer for sure. Especially now we're actually gonna get Amy, and then we're gonna get Metal Sonic 2, so that's pretty awesome too. It kind of gives me some Sonic CD vibes, because Sonic CD was Amy's first appearance, and it was all about Metal Sonic 2. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah. Besides that though, I expected Amy to be in the third Sonic movie, but you know, at least she's gonna be in a Sonic movie. So you know, better late than never, right? So basically, those are my thoughts right there of the Sonic movie, Sonic 3 movie. It wasn't as good as the first two movies, but it was just as awesome anyway. I definitely loved the third movie as well. So I would say it was just a little more like on the dark side a little bit, honestly. But if I left anything out, then I apologize. This is like 52 minutes and my voice is hurting. So overall though, I would give this movie a 8.5 out of 10. So it was still very very awesome, and definitely a rewatchable movie. You know, a movie I wouldn't mind rewatching, of course. So there you guys have it. So Sonic 3 movie, I do recommend you guys go check it out. If you guys already watched this review before watching the movie, that way you guys, for those who don't care about spoilers, I guess, I don't know. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think of the movie, because I'm sure most of you guys are probably watching this after watching the movie. So what do you guys think of the movie overall? Do you think that do you think the story should have been more accurate to like Sonic Adventure 2, or do you think that Gerald Robotnik shouldn't have been in the movie because he did not exist around this time with Sonic and everybody else? Because literally Gerald Robotnik was not existing at the time of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles' existence in the games. So it's kind of weird that he was he was coexisting with those characters in the movie. So I don't know, that's just my opinion though, my personal opinions, but overall, great movie, loved it. So, but like I said, I don't think it tops the first two Sonic movies, because those were just awesome too, but those are just too awesome as well. But you guys saw right there, that's basically how that worked. Pretty crazy. So other than that though, I look forward to watching it again on Paramount Plus, because eventually Paramount Plus will have the Sonic 3 movie on there, so that's gonna be awesome. But for now, I'm done here. I'm not going to make this a long outro or anything. I'm just going to end it here. But overall, I totally enjoyed the movie. So other than that, though, I'll see you guys next time with some Mario Kart Online on Monday, I believe. I believe so, yeah. So there you guys have it. I'm done here. I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also let me know in the comments below what you guys think of the movie, like I said. So overall, though, it was definitely worth watching it last night. And I look forward to watching it again. So, other than that, though, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching.